Ever wonder how a single terrible decision can create a domino effect that destroys years of careful planning and forces a franchise to watch their homegrown talent walk away for nothing? Welcome to the San Francisco 49ers' current nightmare, where a questionable $120 million investment in Brandon Aiyuk might just cost them the player who actually showed up when it mattered most. The sheer audacity of potentially losing Jauan Jennings, a receiver who delivered when stars crumbled, because of financial constraints created by rewarding inconsistency, is enough to make any 49ers fan want to scream into the void. This isn't just about contract negotiations or salary cap management. This is about organizational priorities gone completely sideways, where loyalty to underperforming stars trumps rewarding the players who actually carry the team when everything falls apart. The tale of two receivers. Performance versus perception. Let's paint this picture with the brutal honesty it deserves. On one side, you have Brandon Aiyuk, the receiver who commanded a 4-year, $120 million extension despite being labeled moody and inconsistent. On the other side, you have Jauan Jennings, who stepped up in spectacular fashion when the 49ers needed him most, posting 77 catches for 975 yards and 6 touchdowns in just 15 games, while half the team was on the injury report. The contrast is staggering and infuriating in equal measure. Aiyuk got paid based on potential and draft pedigree, while Jennings proved his worth through actual production when the lights were brightest and the stakes were highest. One receiver disappears when adversity strikes. The other thrives in chaos and uncertainty. Jennings' breakout season wasn't just about numbers, it was about reliability when reliability was scarce. While star players battled injuries and inconsistency, Jennings became the safety net that kept the 49ers' offense functional. He was the receiver Brock Purdy could count on, the target who showed up in crucial moments, the player who elevated his game when circumstances demanded it. Yet somehow, the 49ers find themselves in a position where they might lose this clutch performer because they already committed massive resources to a player whose contributions pale in comparison to what Jennings delivered when it actually mattered. The $120 million mistake that keeps on giving Brandon Aiyuk's contract extension is starting to look like one of those decisions that haunts franchises for years. For years, $120 million for a receiver who brings drama and inconsistency to a team that prides itself on professionalism and reliability. The deal was questionable when it was signed, and it's looking more foolish by the day. As SI's Grant Cohn astutely points out, I'm guessing the 49ers would love to extend Jennings, but probably feel they can't afford him after foolishly giving Aiyuk a 4-year, $120 million extension last year. The word foolishly carries weight here because it captures the essence of what went wrong. The 49ers prioritized potential over production, draft status over actual contribution, and now they're paying the price in the most painful way possible. Jennings is projected to command at least $15 million per season on the open market, money that represents exceptional value considering his production and reliability. But because the 49ers already committed massive resources to Aiyuk, they're now facing the very real possibility of losing a player who's proven he can be their offensive lifeline when everything else falls apart. The irony is almost too painful to acknowledge. The 49ers might lose their most reliable receiver because they overpaid for their most unreliable one. The cap management catastrophe, the 49ers' salary cap situation reads like a case study in how not to manage resources. They've committed top-of-the-market money to Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and Fred Warner, moves that make perfect sense given their production and importance to the team's success. They also moved Deebo Samuel's contract off the books by trading him to Washington, creating some financial flexibility. These moves show they understand the importance of cap management and are willing to make tough decisions when necessary. But the Aiyuk contract stands out like a sore thumb in this otherwise sensible approach to roster construction. It's the one deal that doesn't align with the team's stated philosophy of rewarding performance and reliability over potential and promise. Now, they're stuck in a situation where they want to extend Jennings but feel constrained by a contract they probably wish they could take back. The timing couldn't be worse, as Jennings is entering what should be his prime earning years, and his market value is only going to increase after his breakout performance. The Aiyuk problem that won't go away, here's where the situation gets even more complicated. The 49ers might want to move on from Aiyuk to create space for Jennings, but his current injury status makes him virtually untradeable. Teams aren't exactly lining up to acquire an expensive, moody receiver who's unlikely to start the season healthy. This creates a perfect storm of organizational dysfunction. The 49ers are stuck with a player they overpaid, can't trade the contract they regret, and might lose the player they actually need because of financial constraints created by their own poor decision-making. Aiyuk's injury situation only compounds the problem. Even if teams were interested in his services, his health concerns make any potential trade extremely risky for the acquiring team. The 49ers essentially have an untradeable asset eating up cap space while their most productive receiver heads toward free agency. The organizational implications are staggering. How do you explain to Jennings that his outstanding performance and reliability aren't enough to secure his future with the team? How do you maintain locker room morale when players see that production doesn't guarantee job security, but draft pedigree and potential can secure massive paydays? The 2026 free agency countdown time is running out for the 49ers to make this right. Jennings is heading toward 2026 free agency, and every day that passes without an extension increases the likelihood that he'll test the open market. Once he hits free agency, the 49ers will be competing with 31 other teams for his services, and their financial constraints will become even more problematic. Other teams are watching this situation unfold with keen interest. They see a reliable, clutch receiver who's about to become available because his current team made poor financial decisions. Teams with cap space and smart management will be lining up to offer Jennings the contract he deserves. The 49ers risk creating a scenario where they're forced to watch Jennings sign with a division rival or conference competitor, then face him twice a year while still paying Aiyuk's massive contract. It's the kind of organizational nightmare that can set a franchise back for years. The domino effect of poor decision-making in this situation perfectly illustrates how one bad contract can create a cascade of problems that impact every aspect of roster construction. The Aiyuk deal doesn't just hurt because of the money committed to him. It hurts because it prevents the team from retaining the players who actually contribute to winning. The 49ers have built their reputation on making smart, calculated decisions that prioritize team success over individual star power. The Aiyuk contract represents a departure from that philosophy, and the consequences are becoming increasingly apparent. If they lose Jennings, they'll have traded away their most reliable receiver for the luxury of keeping their most unreliable one. It's the kind of move that can define a franchise's trajectory for years to come. The path forward, damage control, or disaster. The 49ers still have time to fix this mess, but their options are limited and getting more constrained by the day. They could try to restructure Aiyuk's deal to create immediate cap relief, though that would likely just push the problem into future years. They could attempt to find a trade partner willing to take on Aiyuk's contract, but his injury status and inconsistent performance make that unlikely. They could also hope that Jennings will accept a hometown discount, but why should he after watching the team pay premium prices for lesser production? The most likely scenario is that Jennings reaches free agency and signs elsewhere, leaving the 49ers to wonder what might have been if they had made better decisions with their salary cap resources. This story isn't just about the 49ers. It's about the broader principle of organizational decision-making in professional sports. Teams that reward the right players tend to build sustainable success. Teams that reward the wrong players tend to create the kind of dysfunction we're seeing in San Francisco. The 49ers are about to learn this lesson the hard way, and it's going to be painful to watch unfold. What's your take on this 49ers situation? Do you think they can find a way to keep Jennings, or are they destined to lose him because of the Aiyuk mistake? Let us know in the comments if you've ever seen a team make a decision this costly, and give this video a thumbs up if you think the 49ers are about to learn a very expensive lesson about priorities